Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Victorian Studio Podcast. My name is Maureen and I'm coming to you from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada on Sunday, September the 27th, 2015. Welcome all new and returning viewers. Thank you for visiting with me today in my studio. Also, thank you so much for all of those who left such nice comments and messages about last week's episode regarding the opal yarn and the Vincent van Gogh portions of the podcast. It was really, really sweet to see that feedback. Thank you. And great news, I was able to find someone who was willing to sell me the 8th and final skein of opal Van Gogh yarn that I was looking for. It wasn't the person who had it for sale or trade on Ravelry. I didn't hear back from that seller. So I took a chance and I private messaged someone who had it in their stash. It wasn't specifically set for sale or trade, but she did have in her profile that if somebody saw some yarn that she had in her stash, that she may consider selling it. So I emailed her and apologized if I was, intruding. I don't like to bother people about their stash, but she was so sweet. She said that she was meaning to put that item actually on her for sale or trade and just hadn't done it yet. And she was more than willing to send it to Canada. And as a matter of fact, even though she lives in the southern states, she's Canadian born. So she was just wonderful. So it was great to find somebody who was willing to ship to Canada. Sadly, not all people who are on the boards are willing to ship internationally, so it was wonderful to finally find the last skein to my collection. So it's already been shipped, on its way here, so maybe next episode I'll have that to share with you. So thank you so much. I didn't want to say her name because I specifically didn't ask if I could say her Rav name or her name, but if she is watching the podcast, thank you so much. It is so appreciated to finally get my collection done, and now I can kind of think about what I want to make with all those very special skeins of yarn. So this week I've been busy with some knitting, making a special project that I'll share with you a little bit later, and also getting ready for the toy knit and crochet along coming up in a few days. So again, I will go over those details in a little bit. So it's been a busy week. So what I wanted to share first is today, before I podcasted, I got out all my boxes of autumn decor that I usually put out in our front porch area and around the house now that it's officially autumn. So in one of the boxes was something that I was looking for when I was sharing my cross-stitch projects a while back, and so I thought I would share that with you today as well. This is a table runner that I did a few years ago, and it's kind of wrinkly, but I just pulled it out of the bag. It's the same on either end, the same pattern. So I'll show you it more closely here. So this was done on some ecru Aida, and I backed it, sewed it and backed it with just some velour so I can set it on my dining room table. But every fall this comes out of storage to display on our dining room table. So I thought I would share that with you since it was something that I didn't find when I was showing some of my other historical cross-stitch projects. I have to get back to cross-stitch. I still have that one project I'm still working on, so one day. Pardon me. So the other works that I was working on this week, knitting-wise, I guess I'll go through now. The first is my Hitchhiker, and it's currently living in my Fondant Fibre cat bag. And I am using, if you're new, I am using the Bullfinch West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn, and it's their 4-ply signature line. And if you visit the West Yorkshire Spinners website, you'll see that they still have all of these bird themed colorways available. They said that they're not going to be stopping them, at least for now. But what's great news is they're going to be adding to this collection, so it'll be interesting to see what colorways will be coming up in the near future. Can't wait to check them out. So this one I am making my Hitchhiker shawl with, and I'm using US 1.5s for this. So far, that's where I've gotten. The marker here shows where I was last week, so I've added a few teeth. I'm up to 25 now, and I weighed the yarn that I have left, and I have 64 grams left of the 100-gram ball, so I am about a third of the way through. So as I've mentioned before, each row gets longer and longer because it's an asymmetrical shawl, but I'm really loving the way it is turning out so far. It's got a really nice curve to it, and I just love the way the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn is coming out in that garter stitch. So that's continuing to be worked on, mostly work, lunch hours. That's a great project to take along. I think last week, now this is the Hitchhiker shawl by Martina Bem, and last time I was at 21 teeth, so I've added 4, so up to 25 during the last week. So that was project number 1 that I've been working on. As you can see, I've got a full desk here today, so I've got lots to share with you. The second project I was working on, I really didn't get too much work on. It's in my Silver Shed bag by Anne Brodie. And I've done, this is the Roosevelt cardigan. And again, this I'm working on for the Fibertrex Epic knit along, so that hopefully will be what it looks like when it's done. I am using the Wensleydale long wool, Sheep Shop long wool, and that's a Yorkshire wool. It's 100% Aran weight, and I am using US 6s with, so far, 2 sleeves done. But I didn't get a whole bunch done on this week. Unfortunately, this was the least amount that I got done on a project this week, unfortunately. So hopefully in the next few weeks, there's no deadline for this, so I'm really not concerned. I just hope I get it done, like maybe over Christmas or over the winter, so I can actually wear it this year. Get it untangled here. I have just started this huge cast on for the body of the cardigan. So it was about 300 stitches. And I've put markers so that I don't get lost doing cables, and then the back of the cardigan, and then more cables on the other side. So this will be interesting. So I've only got a few rows done on that so far, so that's going to take a while, I'm sure. So I will update you on that progress as it goes. So that was project number 2 that I'm working on. Number 3 are my Tardis socks. So in my homemade Tardis bag, I showed last week that I started this project using a pattern that was on Ravelry, but I am changing it up a little bit. It's the Police Box Socks by Audrey Nicklin, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And I really love the way that she designed the top part of the socks, but I did change, as I mentioned last week, the windows on it to make it look more like the Tardis on the show. So what I've done is, using Excel, I charted out my own set of windows that I use. You do those twice, which are a little bit different than the charts that she puts on her pattern. Of course, they're upside down because you knit them from the cuff down. So, as you can see, she had three windows across, and I changed that up to 2 across. So what I got done last week, and I'm using Canadian yarn, Briggs & Little Durasport in the ecru, black, and denim colorways. And last week I showed the first sock that I had completed. This is Audrey's pattern down to about here. And then here is my addition to the pattern, or revision to the pattern, with the 2 windows on each side to make it look more like the police box. So that was sock number 1. I didn't do any more on that because I wanted to start working on the second sock and getting it down to about the same level. So the cuff is done. The police box, as Audrey designed it, is done. And I am about ready to start my own chart on the second sock. So I'm really pleased with how these are going. I am using, didn't write it down, I think these are 1.5s that I'm using with this yarn. And it's not the softest yarn, but it is very hardy, and I'm not that sensitive, so I think it'll just be fine, especially after they're washed. But it's really nice and squishy and stretchy yarn, so I think this will work just fine. So I'm pleased with how those are coming along so far. And once I get down to finishing my charts, then I'll go back and forth and try to keep them about the same level of completion as I work the heel, the gusset, and the foot. So keep tuned for updates on that project. Okay, so next is a project that I started this week, and it too is a pair of socks. But this time it's a test knit that I agreed to do for Sara at the Purls of Color podcast. Sara is the one who provided us with the Winter Breeze cowl giveaway early on in the podcast, and she's also the one that I also tested out her stitch marker sets. So thank you, Sara, for sending those to me. So she contacted me on Ravelry and asked if I would like to test her newest sock pattern, and they're called Lady Edith Socks, and they're named after Edith in Downton Abbey. So I'll share those with you. Now these are ankle socks, and so it's my first pair of ankle socks that I've knitted. And so what I wanted to do was get some yarn that something that I didn't have in my stash yet. So daughter and I were at Michael's one day, and she found some really nice Lion brand yarn that would work well for socks. So I chose 2 colors of that. It's currently living in my Kikiboo bag by Denise at the Knitting Den, and it's living in there because it's matching. Again, just like my Hitchhiker shawl, matching the bag with the yarn colors. This bag is perfect for this project because, again, my favorite color, teal, and a nice cream color to go with it. So this is the yarn that we found at Michael's, and it's their Sock Ease. And I thought at first the Lion Brand yarn was acrylic, but I was pleased to find this is 75% wool and 25% nylon, so great for socks. And it's really nice and soft, so I'm thrilled with the 2 colors that I found in that. So this one is colorway 100, and it's called Marshmallow. And this one is called Snow Cone, and it's color number 178. Now, I'll show you Sarah's picture here on her pattern so you can see what it looks like. It has some color work in it, and this is the first time that I've ever attempted socks that have a different color cuff, heel, and toe. So I was really looking forward to trying that out. I think the look is so neat, and I've always wanted to try that, so perfect timing to do that. Now, Sara is also still looking for test knitters, so I will link her Purls of Color podcast in the show notes. So if you're interested in doing a test knit for her, look her up and give her a message on Ravelry, and she'll send you the pattern to test out as well. So far, it's going wonderfully. I haven't found any problems. And I'm just working on one so far. Because I'm using both colors of yarn, I didn't want to separate them out into 2 balls because I don't think it's going to use a lot of the yarn, and I didn't want to waste very much, by cutting them in half and then having 2 balls left over that were fairly large. So I'm doing just 1 sock at a time for this project, and I'm using size 2 US needles, I think I wrote it down. Yes, US number 2s. And so far this is what I've got done. This was just a couple of days work, and I started out with a 1x1 cuff. That's the first time I've done a 1x1 rib, and I really like it. Usually I do a 2x2, so it was nice to do that for a change. And then is the color work, and it's kind of like a chain. It reminds me almost like pearls. That would be very reminiscent of the Downton Abbey fashions. And here is the heel flap, so that's what I'm working on right now. That's done. The next thing I have to do is the heel turn, and then the gusset. So these are coming along really quickly, and the yarn is so nice and soft. I'm really quite surprised and pleased with how this is working out. So thank you, Sara, for sending that to me, and I've been in touch with her to let her know that, so far I haven't found any problems with the pattern. And what's nice is she has written the pattern for the color work both in a chart and written out. So no matter which way you prefer to read your knitting patterns, she's got it both ways in her patterns. So looking forward to finishing those. At first I was going to choose colors. If you've watched Downton Abbey, Edith wears a lot of rusts and browns and that kind of thing, and that's what I was looking for, colors at first. But when daughter found these, and no surprise, my dad, myself, and my daughter's favorite colors are turquoise and teal. So it's not surprising that I've gone with those colors. So that's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to working on those some more. And it's always great having socks on the needles. They're a great take-along project as well. So let's see. I guess that's all the knitting that I've done this week. and I've done no spinning. So sadly, I will not be entering in a final project to Chrissy at Stitch Together podcast spin along. It ends in just a few days, and I haven't gotten back to my spinning. So that's something I'll just work on at my leisure, because I won't give myself a deadline or, pressure to get it done and do a poor job. I'd rather do a good job and enjoy the final product at the end. That's because I've been busy with a few other projects, and let's see. I guess I'll share those with you in a little bit near the end of the podcast. Right now, what I'd like to share with you is some stash acquisitions. Over the last few weeks, I've been looking at more indie dyers, and as I've mentioned before, I've been trying to get not only colors that I don't have in my stash, expanding that color palette, but also expanding, testing out or experiencing different indie dyers products. So I've got a couple to share with you today. Let's see. Well, before I show you the indie dyers products, all the yarn that I have to share with you today are all in this basket here. What I mentioned last week was I took some yarn to my mom's senior center for her knitting group to use. A lot of acrylics in baby colors and things like that I thought they could use. And she gave me some yarn that she didn't think that she would be using, so we did a bit of a swap. So she gave me 7 skeins of something I've never seen before, and it's called Euroflax linen. Now it's fairly stiff, but what I read on Ravelry, this is actually in the Ravelry database, a lot of people have said that once it's washed, it softens up quite a bit. So I'm going to look and see what kind of projects are done with linen. Daughter thought it would probably make a really good market bag, which would be very nice. And I was thinking maybe some linen towels. I've done a few washcloths in cotton that I'll share with you another time, but I was thinking also, towels would probably be nice with this as well. These are from Belgium that this was made in, and it's 325 yards each, so 7 of these is plenty. It's machine washable and dryable, and it's 100% linen, so I'm looking forward to trying that out, something I've never seen before. So thank you, Mom, for that. Let's see. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is when Daughter and I went to the antique store last weekend, we also, of course, stopped by our local yarn shop, and they were having a sale on some new Malabrigo. So I picked up a skein of Mashita, and this is colorway 883 Sherry. And I really love the purples and blues and really deep blue, almost black colors in that. So I'm looking forward to using this super soft squishy yarn. Now it's it's 100% merino, 420 yards. So I am thinking about making one of Isabel's shawls from the Fluffy Fibres podcast. I just love Isabel and her sweet cat. And I recently purchased 2 of her shawls, the Verdure shawlette and the Bonbon. And right now she has a knit along going on for the Bonbon shawlette until Christmas. So I'm thinking this would be just beautiful for that project. So I'm going to see about casting that on pretty soon, because I don't, other than the Hitchhiker shawl, don't really have a lace project on right now. So I'll insert here a couple of pictures of those 2 shawlettes by Isabel. So yeah, those are just beautiful, and I really wanted to get a special yarn to make one of those with anyway. Let's see, what else did I get? I also was thrilled that I was able to catch an update by Hedgehog Fibres. Now, I've been eyeing their yarn for quite a while, and I finally got on their website when they had an update, and I quickly grabbed this skein of their sock yarn. Oh my gosh, it's so squishy. This might make a good shawl as well, one of Isabel's shawls. This is called Rusty Nail. And again, getting out of my usual greens and blues color palette. It's just so beautiful. Great autumn colors. So I think these will look great. I'm not going to waste it on socks. I'm going to make something that people can see with this beautiful, beautiful yarn. So let's see. It's 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon. So yeah, this is going to be just beautiful to use. Looking forward to finally trying Hedgehog Fibres. I've seen it on so many other podcasts and people raving about it, and I can see why. It's just incredibly soft and beautiful, beautifully dyed colors. So that's something special to add to my stash. The other things, I also caught Kristen at Voolenvine. She has the Yarngasm podcast, and I've been eyeing her stuff for a while as well. I've been watching her podcast from the beginning. So she's a wonderful indie dyer from Brooklyn, New York, and this colorway is on her Volca base, and it's the Mexican hot chocolate. And again, in the more of the reds, the warmer palettes, but this is more browns and deep reds. Just beautifully dyed and really, really soft. This is, it's 80-10-10, superwash merino, cashmere, and nylon. And it's 430 yards, so it's a fingering weight. And again, I'm going to make something special out of this. So I haven't decided yet what it is, but it's going to be great to finally try out some of her products. So I know hers is hard to get to. It seems like when she gets an update within minutes, 90-95% of it is gone. So I was thrilled I was able to find something a few weeks ago of hers, and it came so quick. It was just a couple of days later, it was here in Canada. Now, sometimes I can wait weeks for something to be delivered, so that was incredibly fast. Oh, and she also included, if I just kind of get away from the yarns just for a minute, she also included one of her buttons. Now, a few episodes ago, I mentioned how I was starting to collect podcast buttons and indie dyers buttons. So I had a few of them, and I was trying to decide how I wanted to display them. And Valeria, thank you very much. You gave me a great idea to display them on a toy. Now, the first toy that I ever knit up in the round was a lamb, and that was the toy that I made while daughter and I were taking lessons at Wolseley Wool back in, I guess it was February 2014, when we were learning how to knit and how to knit something that wasn't just flat. So I chose this fuzzy lamb pattern, and I've shown it before. But what I thought was he would make a good display for my buttons. So here's my fuzzy lamb so far, with the Victorian Studio podcast button, of course. My first button that I got from James, Dancing Geek. There's the Voolenvine Yarns button. Undead Yarns. Bakery Bears. And this is from Fish Knits. And these other two buttons I got at our local yarn shop, and they both have cats with yarn. So there's one, it's from Ram Wools, and this one is Caution Cat at Play. So I thought that was really cute. They threw those in when I went to get the yarn for my Tardis socks. So Valeria, thank you very much for the idea. I'm gonna probably run out of space, but at least for now, this is a great way to display my knitting related and podcast related buttons. So I thought I would share that with you today as well. So back to yarns. The other yarn that I got was from Lisa at Fibernymph Dyeworks. Now I watch her 90% Knitting podcast. I've been watching it for a long time. Love watching her episodes, and it's so interesting when she talks about both her shop and her personal life. That woman is always busy. It's amazing. She does things just unreal. But I really wanted to try some of her yarns, so I picked up this Elegance base. It's the lace lace weight, and the colorway is Frosted Blossoms. So again, not usually something that I would pick in almost the pinky colorway, but I love the darker purpley and also almost a gray tones to it as well. So I think this will make a beautiful, beautiful scarf. So it's 80% superwash merino, 20% silk, and it's 875 yards of lace weight. So I think that is just beautiful, and I can't wait to try that out as well. And of course, you know, when you get yarns from a lot of the indie dyers, they throw in other things like candy or tea or things like that. And I was really surprised with something I found with Lisa's package. As I said, a lot of this was from Fish Knits. Got candy, Deb at Fondant Fibre. Even when I get a bag, she'll add tea and candy as well. And then Lisa sent me some candy, and one of them I had to save to show you, because as a Canadian, I thought this was pretty funny. This is some of the candy that she sent, and it's called Smarties. At least in the States, it's called Smarties. In Canada, they're called Rockets. I hope you can see both of those. They're nearly identical packages. So I thought that was really funny that in the States they're called Smarties, and I hope you can see that. And in Canada, it's Rockets. And in Canada, Smarties are these. So these are chocolate covered. They're nothing to do with that kind of hard candy. So I thought that was really funny. So I thought I would share that with especially my non-Canadian viewers, that even though Canada and the US do have a lot of similarities, it's funny the way sometimes the candy in that is different. I think we have a lot of items that are more British based than, or referenced, than American. So I thought that was really cute. And it had me thinking about Halloween and all that candy that's now out, of course. And it's actually been out for a little while. And of course, I had to get something that came out last year. I had to look for it again this year. And I was going to send one to Denise at the Knitting Den, because I know she loves Kit Kats. And I didn't know if in the States they had the Halloween versions of Kit Kat with cats on them. But she's being a very good person and not eating as much candy anymore. So I'll just show her here if she's watching. Denise, that's our Kit Kats for Halloween with the black cats on them. And if you noticed, yeah, the bag is open because what's crafting in your own little craft room without a few snacks once in a while. So it's so much fun to get not only what you were expecting from the indie dyers or the bag makers, whatever, but although they always throw in just little surprises that are very sweet, literally very sweet. So let's see. Oh, I got something else this week that I wanted to share with you. It took a while though to get from the UK. 4 weeks it took to travel here, but I'm so thrilled that it did finally arrive. And that is 2 new bags from Deb at Fondant Fibre. Better put it back here so you can see. When I saw these on Instagram, I had to go right to her site as soon as they were posted, and I was so lucky to grab one of just a few that she was making with this adorable fabric with the cats. It reminds me of like the 1960s cartoons that you would see cats in with say Yogi Bear and things like that. It's that kind of design on it. And not only one, but I got 2 bags, and I'm just using the smaller one inside as an oceans bag for now, but I can certainly use it because it's box bottom. It's big enough on its own as a sock bag. And then the second one is the larger bag for larger products or projects. And each one has a little paw on the zipper pull, so that's so sweet, and her tag. And one of the things I love about it, it's a very small thing but really important, I think, is something I love about her bags is she doesn't sew the zipper right to the end. She always leaves just a little bit of a hole here, and that is so great. When you either have it open or closed, you can pull your yarn out without it getting snagged on the zipper. I think that is just terrific. It's a really nice design feature that she has in her bags. They're so well made. Really, really love them. You can see why she's so popular, and it's sometimes so hard to get some of her bags because, they're adorable and well made. So thrilled. And these have come just in time for the toy KAL, because I'm going to use these for the projects that I'm going to be doing during the toy knit along. So I think that's all I have in my basket. Get that out of the way. Let's see what else I wanted to share with you. Okay, the toy KAL. Now it starts on Thursday, October the 1st, and it will be running right through till December 31st. So I'm in the next day or so, I'll put up a thread in the Ravelry group. Now, if you're viewing and you're not a member of the Rav group, why don't you join up? If you want to enter in a knitted or crocheted toy, you have to be a member of the group to be eligible for prizes. So I'll start a thread in the group for the chatter, and on Thursday, October the 1st, I'll start up another thread for the finished objects. So as I mentioned, this is the 4th annual toy knit along, and it's a knit or crochet along, and it's being hosted by Talia and Marlisha, the lovely ladies at Pen, Hook and Needles. I'm just thrilled to be a co-host this year with them. Very honored that they asked me to co-host. I had so much fun in the knit along last fall. It was one of my favorites, the favorite knit along that I've ever participated in. And we have 2 other co-hosts as well. There's Kim at Me and My Dog and Some Yarn, and Mary at Yarnaceuticals. So I will also link their podcasts in my show notes so that you can check them out as well. Because if you're going to be knitting or crocheting a toy, you can certainly enter into all 4 of those groups threads for prizes. So I'm not sure exactly what the rules will be on all of their groups. You'll have to check those out and be a member of their group to enter. But for mine, you have to just be a member of the group. You have to abide, by the rules of each of the groups. For mine, all the projects have to be started on or after October the 1st and be completed by December 31st. And I'll just have a finished objects thread, so you can just post into that finished objects thread with a photo of your project in there. Each individual entry, you can enter as many times as you wish, but each project put in a separate post, please. So that's going to be a no chatter thread, the finished objects thread, because that's where we'll draw prizes from. So we'll have a chatter thread so that if you want to share your projects, either works in progress or when you're finished, just so people can comment on them, that's the place to do it. Now there'll be a tag for Instagram, so you can post on there as well. And I am on Instagram, same name, Victorian Studio. So if you want to follow me there, that would be great. But we'll set up a tag. I'll put that in the chatter and information thread about the KAL. I don't think the ladies at Pen Hook and Needles have determined the tag that we're going to use yet this year, so I'm just waiting to hear back from them. There's no limit on, a minimum amount of yarn that you need to use. So whatever you want to make, and for whatever cause, if you want to keep the toys, if you want to give them away, if you want to donate them, whatever you please. If you're making them for Christmas gifts, wonderful. So whatever you want to do, there's no limits on that as well. Okay, now prizes. So far I've shown before, Deb at Fondant Fibre was so nice to send me some prizes for the podcast, so I kept them for this knit along. So first of all, we have the Knitter's Soap, and that will go to the same person who wins this beautiful fiber from Fondant Fibre. And this is called Enola Gay, and it's BFL. And shimmer nylon, so it has a little bit of sparkle to it, so it's beautiful. So those two prizes will be awarded to one person. And I also have something from a sponsor that's here in Manitoba, and dear Pat from On the Dock Knits. She's a bag maker. She's a knitter from Lac du Bonnet, Manitoba, which is just north of here. And I first discovered her, she had sponsored a giveaway at Knitworthy, and her bag was just beautiful. And when they mentioned that she was from Lac du Bonnet, I thought, hey, that's close to me. So I contacted Pat, and she's going to actually be vending at next week's Manitoba Fiber Festival, so I can't wait to meet her in person. So I contacted her and asked her if she would like to sponsor this knit along, and she said sure. So she sent me a beautiful project bag, and this will be one of the prizes for the toy knit along. Isn't that wonderful? It's got a beautiful box bottom on it as well. Great big handle. That's just wonderful. I love it when bags have big handles. And also a hook that you can hook anything onto. And there's beautiful inside, beautifully made. And she also included a set of stitch markers. So that's On the Dock Knits. Again, I will link her Etsy shop in the show notes, so you can check out the other things that she's got going. Now, this and the Fondant Fibre prizes will be at the end of the knit along. So that won't be until, I guess, the new year, because the knit along goes until New Year's Eve. But what I thought I would do is I'd also have some prizes for every month. And so at the end of October, November, and December, I'm going to also award a $10 or less US pattern in Ravelry. So you can choose the pattern you want for $10 or less US, and I will gift that to you. Also, there's more prizes coming, but I don't have them here today to show you. I've got 2 wonderful sponsors sending me some very special items. I'm so thrilled. The Knitter's Pride Company is going to be sending some wonderful items that we'll be giving away during the KAL. And maybe I won't mention exactly what the yarn company is, but there's a very special yarn company sending some very special yarns. So there will be yarny prizes as well. So who knows, there may be even more prizes that will be announced during the KAL. So stay tuned for updates on that. So very exciting. I can't believe that the Toy KAL is almost here. So let's see, what else do I have to share with you today? This week I was also working with a very special bag maker. One of the bags that I've shown already here today. I thought, while I was looking in her shop, she has some beautiful, incredible bags, but I thought, wouldn't it really be cool to have a knitting bag that I designed myself? Now, my Tardis bag, I designed the upper part of the fabric myself on Spoonflower, but it was something pretty basic, mostly text. But I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a knitting bag with one of my drawings on it? So I was thinking, maybe I'll get myself a holiday-themed bag. So what I did was, I scanned an image of, pardon me, one of my drawings, and this is my polar bear drawing that I've shown previously, and with the candy cane in his mouth, I thought that would make a really nice holiday themed bag. So I'm working with this bag maker. I'm getting fabric made up with my little polar bear drawing, and she's going to be making a bag up for me. I mean, I would sew one up, but there's no way I could make a bag as well as she does. So I'm going to have the fabric made up and sent to her. She's going to sew up a couple of bags for me, and hopefully I'll be able to share those with you in the next couple of months. It'll probably take a little while to make, but it was so exciting to work on that design this week. So when I wasn't knitting and working and doing other things around the house, my time this week was busy spent designing fabric for a new project bag. So that's really exciting. I can't wait to see how that's going to turn out. The last thing I thought I would share with you today is it's only a few days left until the 3rd annual Manitoba Fibre Festival. And this year they've moved to a new location and it's going to be larger. And my daughter and I are signed up to take a yarn dyeing class, so I'm really looking forward to that. It could be dangerous to get started in that hobby, but we'll see. So not only shopping and workshops and that kind of thing, I'm looking forward to their haul of breeds. They said on their website they're going to have about a dozen different breeds of sheep and alpaca, I believe. Yeah, and alpaca. So next week I will hopefully share with you some video from the Manitoba Fibre Festival. So really looking forward to that. And it reminded me, it's been a while since I've actually seen sheep up close. Hubby and I, when we first started going out, he lived on a sheep farm, and they had quite a few sheep, a couple hundred sheep, I believe. And so I have on Ravelry, my Ravatar is myself at age 18 holding a little lamb. But I thought at the end of this podcast you'd get a kick out of seeing pictures of me and hubby on his sheep farm from 1978. So I was a mere 18 years old at that time. So a lot of fun to look back at those old pictures and see that here we are so many years later, and getting excited to go see real sheep again. So looking forward to that. So I think that's all I have to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed your visit, and I hope you'll come back again next week to spend some time with me in my Victorian studio. Until then, have a wonderful week, everyone, and We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.